Yes, good morning, everyone. Good morning. Am I audible to all of you? Is it audible? Mr. Ashutosh, please.
Yes, ma'am. It's audible.
Very good morning, everyone. We are just waiting for all the participants to join. They are joining slowly. So that's why we are just being little late by 1 or 2 minutes only. There are some people waiting. So, right. Twice, if the vision is 1 year, Rotary's vision is a decade. True good human beings or educate people if the vision is a lifetime. There are theories with an impact on the world, but there is no greater impact that you can make than spreading education and empowering people who will empower and teach more people, who in turn will empower and teach even more. So a very good morning to one and all present here. And we have reached the 10th day of our faculty development program. Doing a quick recap, we started our faculty development program on 6th July with Dr. Sushil Kumar Sharma as our first speaker. He enlightened us on various topics like who can do research, MLA citations, APA score, and then he also talked about how to write a hypothesis. Then Dr. Piyush Bangu took over the session. He discussed about the basics of econometrics and also the regression model of doing research. And on this intellectual journey, today we have our third eminent speaker, Professor Dr. Siddarth Jain, HOD Mechanical Engineering, Dean Research, College of Engineering, Roorkee. He will guide us on the topic ethics in paper writing. So before he starts, I would like to request Mr. Ashutosh Sharma to please introduce Dr. Siddarth Jain briefly. Over to Ashutosh, sir, please.
Thank you so much, Pinky ma'am. Good morning to all. I am Ashutosh Sharma, welcoming you all on the 10th day of FDP. We have Dr. Siddarth Jain, one of the most prominent lecturers with us. He is currently working as a professor and dean research at College of Engineering, Roorkee. He has guided 6 PhD theses, 4 MTech and 13 BTech. Uh, he has attended almost 21 workshops and courses. 75 of his research papers are being published in various referred journals and 30 in symposiums and conferences. He has published 4 books and contributed almost 13 chapters in various publications. The patents to his credit has been on a very large scale, and he has already been organizing various workshops and internships. He is the coordinator of Institute of IPR Cell. He is a lifetime member of International Association of Small Hydro Bioenergy Society of Singapore, an editorial board member of Asian Academic Research Associates, and International Journal of Renewable Energy Technology Research, USA. Dr. Jain is also editor-in-chief of the Engineering Journal of Application and Scope. He also received various fundings from the Department of Science and Technology to attend the International Symposium on Renewable Feedback for Biofuel and Bio-based Products held at Austin, US. He has sponsored almost 3 research projects of TCube, and he has all these accomplishments into his pride. So I welcome Dr. Siddarth Jain to initiate this FDP and guide us all for the topic, which is ethics in paper writing.
Yeah, thank you, Ashutosh, sir. So I cordially invite Professor Dr. Siddarth Jain to please take charge of the session. And I'm personally feeling very happy and very much contented that you have accepted this invitation. And let's begin the session of the day, sir. Over to you, Siddarth Jain, sir, please.
Thank you, ma'am. First of all, a very good morning to all the participants and organizers. Uh, many thanks to Dr. Pinky and Dr. Ashutosh for, of course, inviting me and introducing me so well. It's really my pleasure to give such a wonderful lecture to the wonderful audience. Uh, Definitely. So now just I'm going to share my PPT
Yes, sir, now you can share, sir.
sharing.
Yes, it's visible now, sir.
Yeah. Okay.
Till then, we are just waiting for the other participants also to join because the participants joined a little bit late. This has been a regular practice. And yesterday, I just saw that when we had finished the session, one participant was joining. So we should be a little bit punctual. And as I told yesterday also, there is another announcement that the valedictory program we have shifted in the afternoon shift. Like it was earlier scheduled at 11 a.m. Now we will have it at 2:30 p.m. On 19th July because there is an urgent meeting in our university at university level. So we have to attend that. So we will be having the valedictory session at 2:30 p.m. on 19th in spite of 11 a.m. There is a slight change in the timings. The date is still the same. Sir, we still are not able to hear you.
Hello, ma'am. Are you able to listen me?
Yes, sir. Now it is starting.
Okay.
Right, sir.
So again, I think I should apologize. Also, like it's like something mistake in my side. Some connection problem was there in my side. So now I just been login from different device. So I'm just showing my presentation from different device and talking from different device. So okay, so as we are now staying in a era, and we are just living in an era which is full of electronics. So ethics in scientific writing is very important part. Of course, although ethics are very important in all the phases of life, whether it is personal or professional. So today we just been going to focusing on scientific writing ethics. Okay. So while we just been talking about scientific writing, it means publications. It may be in terms of books chapters, publication, research papers, review papers, news articles, anything which you are writing and just spreading to the world. That is called publication. Okay. So now, what is the basic criteria? What is the why we just been focusing on publication? Why it is important? So, of course, spreading the knowledge. First and the most important thing is the spreading of knowledge. Of course, whether it is oral or written communication, so that is very important. Okay, that's why publication is very important. Number two thing is that the evaluation of the scientist, of course, evaluation of the researcher. Of course, there should be a criteria, of course, that okay, how can I evaluate, how can I categorize the researchers. So publication, of course, give it is not, of course, the whole and sole criteria, but of course it is also very important criteria while this been evaluating the scientist. And another thing is the promotion, of course, as we are all are professionals. So promotions, increments, whether it is professional or personal, so that is very important. So these three criteria are very important while just been talking about publications. So now if we just been focusing on ethics, of course, very important part while just been talking about publications. So what is, of course, ethics? So ethics, of course, if all we divide ethics, then it can be divided into two parts. One is the personal and one is the professional. So of course, what is ethics? In both the cases, it is same, a set of moral principles while we talking about as a human being, and while we as a researcher or as a author of a paper. So a set of moral principles, a theory or a set of moral values. Of course, one should follow if you want to be a good doctor, good researcher, good teacher, good author, anything, good police, good army, principles, a guiding philosophy, of course, so that's a very successful in your professional, in that particular professional. If you're talking about doctor, of course, we have some ethical values in that also. If we are teacher, then of course the ethical values are different, but they are the guiding philosophy so that we can be a good teacher, a good doctor, or a good human being. A consciousness of moral importance. Of course, if you want to be a good citizen, if you want to be a good teacher, if you want to be a good learner, then of course a consciousness of moral importance. If we just been talking, if we just been focusing on
scientific writing, then of course, what is ethics? So, ethics in publication is of paramount importance and has become more of an issue for editor in recent years, particularly with the advent of the electronic age. Of course, now we know that, of course, like 20, 30 years past, there was no computer. So that time, it was difficult for copying the things for author, as well as it was very easy for the editor also to review the things. But now, what's happening? Now we are in a electronic era. So now copying and pasting things are very much easier, and that is the very much challenging part for the editor of that journal or editor of that book, as well as for the reviewer. So that is the thing basically why we need the ethics. Now, if we're talking about ethics, then the most important thing, we know that, of course, since last 5 6 years we just been listening this word very much, plagiarism. Okay, plagiarism. So what is that? Of course, we know that copy paste thing is that called plagiarism. So this is also of two types. One is the use of others, and another is the self plagiarism. Some people say, okay, you can use your things, it should not becomes under plagiarism. But no, if you are using your things again and again for publication, you are just publishing the same thing in different journal again and again, that is also not good. That is called self plagiarism. Okay, so the use of others published and unpublished ideas or words or other intellectual properties without attribution or permission, and presenting them as a new and original idea, then derived from the an existing source, means you just been using another's other people's ideas and saying that okay, it is an original idea. You can use, of course, others ideas also, but you have to quote that okay, this person has done this work and I am using that thing. So that is the thing, then it doesn't come under plagiarism. In the same manner, self plagiarism, some people what they do, they just publish their things again and again without quoting or without referring that thing, so that the editor will be in dilemma, okay, this is the new thing. Sometimes it happens now. So the self plagiarism refer to the practice of an author using portion of his or her previous writing on the same topic in another article without specifically quoting. That word is very important, without specifically quoting. If you're quoting that thing, then it is okay, then it doesn't come under self plagiarism. So I, in this presentation, of course, I will show many case studies, many real case studies, okay, what's happening in this scientific publication, how people are doing work. So why it is so important, so I will show all these things. So now, avoiding plagiarism, what's happening? So now the manuscript writing for an international journal is filled with rules and that author often don't know how to follow. Means if you just been going to publish any research, any paper in any journal, then there will be guide to author. So they have some rules and regulations for author. So generally we don't see that thing. So that is very important. So if we see all these things, then of course we would be able to avoid the plagiarism. They show that okay, how much plagiarism is important and what they count as a plagiarism. Now this is the thing, you can see action that might be seen as plagiarism. Many of us, we see that okay, we are very confused that okay, what is plagiarism, how can we count a particular thing in plagiarism. So this is the thing, actually you can see here, it is of two types. One is the deliberate plagiarism and another is the possibly accidental plagiarism. Sometimes it happens that you don't know that okay, this work has already been done, and you publish or you try to publish or you submit the same thing, but that is the accidental one. But sometimes it happens that deliberately you do the same thing, and I will show you in this presentation some examples. The most renowned researchers have done these kind of things and what happened with them. So I will show in this presentation. So you can say that deliberated. So now buying, stealing or borrowing a paper, that is the deliberate plagiarism. Hiring someone to write your paper, which is now in a common practice, that is also deliberate plagiarism. Okay, now using the source too closely when preface, so that is the thing, that is called a possibly accidental plagiarism. building on someone's ideas without citation. Sometimes it happens that, okay, a researcher has done work on a particular thing, you are doing the extension of that work, but you are not citing that work, that okay, that work has already been done and I'm just doing the extension of that work. So that is also the accidental plagiarism. So that is means like it is also of course not good, but yeah, you can give answer. If someone asks, then you can of course save yourself. Now copying from the other sources without citing, that may comes under deliberate or that may comes under possible accidental. Sometime of course research is showing that research means you are again searching that thing. So of course you have to follow the previously published articles, of course, but nobody is saying that you cannot take the things from the previously published articles, but the thing is that you have to cite them. That is important. Okay. Now if we see the journals, of course, the another very important part is the conflict of interest, which is also the part of ethics. And what is that conflict of interest? Of course, it may be financial, it may be academic, it may be commercial, it may be political or personal. Financial, if suppose your institute or your university is giving funding, if is funding you for that particular research, and you are not putting the name of the university in your paper, then that is the financial conflict. Okay, so you have to mention the name of your university in that. Sometime it happens that okay, I am doing job here right now in College of Engineering Roorkee. Suppose they have funded me for a particular research, I have submitted the paper. Now I have changed my job, now I'm going to Amity, suppose, and now I'm putting the name Amity in that call in that paper. So that is the conflict of financial, you can say financial conflict. So that is very important. Now the share ownership means, now if two or three people have done work on that paper and you're just writing the name of only yourself, then that is also the conflict of interest. That also comes under conflict of interest. Now who is paying for the lecture? If you're going for the conference, then what's happening? Someone is paying money for that attending the conference, so you have to write in acknowledgement that okay, that firm, that organization has given me the money for attending this conference. So that is also the conflict of interest. So these are the things which comes under ethics, plagiarism and conflict of interest. So in this presentation I am just going to discuss the following points, like how to structure a paper to tell your story, of course, some do's and don'ts which you have to follow. Take advantage of peer review. What is peer review? And you should take advantage. Now, I'll discuss some of the case studies of self-plagiarism, duplication, plagiarism, fabrication, fraud, and review responsibility, of course. So now, just a minute. Yeah.
Excuse
Yeah.
me,
So
Siddarth.
this is I'm showing a journal, a famous journal of elsewhere, which is the Talenta. It is the journal of chemistry, basically. It's a applied science journal. So I want to discuss why I'm showing this. Actually, most of the things, most of the case studies, I'll just discuss with from this journal, actually, because Dr. Christian, this Gary, he is one of my good friend. So he has discussed, he has shared some of very good case studies with me, and using those case studies, I just made this presentation. So that's why, because the things which I will show you, those will be very much, confidential as well. So just a minute. Yeah. So now, in every journal, like in Talenta also, in every journal, they show the aims and scope. So while you've been writing or submitting a paper, you have to see this aims and scope of the particular journal. And many of us, even 99% of us, we don't see actually. We just publish or we submit the paper with someone's advice actually. So that is very important, that okay, the journal is made for what, and what is the rules and regulation for the author. So that is very important. Okay. So now just I want to start with the structure of the paper. Of course, now if you see the structure of a paper, then abstract is the most important part, which comes first. Of course, the abstract is the thing which you write at the last of the paper. But many of us, we start at the start of the paper. But no, you have to write the whole paper, and after that, you need to frame your abstract. So what is abstract basically? What you need to show in the abstract? So a brief, it should be brief and to the point. Some of us, we just write the abstract too large, but no, many of the journal, they restrict the words of the journal, like it should be like a maximum 200 words. Okay, so it should be brief and to the point, should give the base principle and the methods, basically what you're using, why you're using, what are you using, those are the things. And of course, include a summary of important data results, like figures of merits, range of measurement, detection limit, precision, samples analyzed. Means you don't need to discuss the whole result, but the summary of the results. And also the range of the measurement, means your work is applicable to whom. That is very important. This is not an introduction. You no need to write the whole introduction, no need to write the justification of your work. Justification is the part of the introduction, that why are you doing this work. But what are you doing, for what you are doing, and what is the results, slightly you have to discuss in the abstract. Okay, then now the another part, the second part comes is the introduction. Okay, so of course, while you just been writing the introduction, of course the first sentence is the most difficult sentence, how to start the introduction. Okay, so you, and of course the whole introduction should be like a story, it should be very much connective. Okay, like a story, means like each line, each paragraph should be very much connected. So tell a story, why this work important. So that is very important. You're doing work, that is okay, but why are you doing this work, that is very important. Okay, so that's why, what problem is being addressed. Okay, these are the points to follow while just been writing the introduction. Why this work is important, what problem is being addressed, what has been done in the past, means the review thing. So that from your review only you can draw the gaps, and then you can say, okay, why my present work is being important. Okay, give relevant references, of course. Like it depends upon journal to journal. While you just mean see guide to author, then it depends upon journal to journal. Some journals say, okay, in a research paper there should be only 30 to 35 references only. Some say, okay, it may vary from 60 to 70. So it depends upon journal to journal, of course, but you have to give the relevant references, okay, from where you just been quoting the things. How does this advance the state of the art? Don't say work of prior authors is no good. Of course, some of us, we say, okay, previous researchers have, they, of course they have some gaps, but gaps doesn't mean that the work is not good. Okay, so don't criticize previous work, that is very important. That otherwise it goes against. Just a minute. Yeah. Then, of course, introduction is showing the, of course, the part of slightly, you need to show the review. Then, of course, the gaps from that review. Then, what you are proposing in the present study and how it has been important. So, these things are basically the part of the introduction. If you are writing the introduction, these are certain questions. If you are able to give the answers of these questions, then, of course, your review, your introduction is being completed. Okay. Then the another thing I'm just been saying, experimental. So of course it's like after introduction you need to write the experimental. Of course, experimental, this portion is not applicable to everyone, but this is, of course, you can see the methodology. Means what are you doing, why are you doing, you have already been discussed in your introduction portion. Now you need to discuss, of course, how you are doing. So how, that is the methodology. So that thing is being important for the next section. So the name of the next section may be different. It may be methodology, it may be materials and methods, it may be experimental. So it depends upon your type of paper, of course. So that shows, but the purpose is same. How you are doing, what are you doing is the part of the introduction. How are you doing, that is the part of the experimental. And once you just been completed the experiment or your work, so that this experimental, this portion is of course very much important. And once you just been completed this, then you have to discuss your results and discussion. Of course, once you just been completed, then you have to show the results and discussion. Means what are you doing, why are you doing, then okay, someone is in lobby. Okay, what are you doing? Why are you doing? How are you doing? And then once your work has been completed, then of course you need to show the results. So that is also very much important. Means your presentation in the result, that is very important. Now there are some important points like this is the main part, of course, your report or your paper. Of course, be succinct and clear. That thing is very important. Sometimes while you just been writing the paper, you need to show it to your colleague also. It should be, of course, very confidential. So if he is able to extract the things, if he is able to understand your paper very clearly by seeing your paper, then only you can say okay. Because what happen if we are writing our paper, then we say all the time that okay, we are writing paper. If we are reading it again, then it would be good for us. But yeah, whether it would be good for others, whether other people are going to understand that paper, is it possible or not? So that is very important. Give the basis of your method. Often nothing is said why a new reagent was selected or studied, although it works. Why did you think if just been I'm going to making biodiesel. Suppose my area is like biodiesel. If I'm making biodiesel and I'm using the new catalyst, suppose, okay, then what's happening? Of course, new catalyst giving good results. But why it is giving good result, that is very important. What's happening? Maximum cases we always show results. Means we show that okay, we have used this catalyst and this is showing the results which is better than previous work. That is the result. But the discussion part is very important. Why this new catalyst is good? So that hypothesis you have to draw. That is very important. Okay, otherwise it would not be possible to publish in a good journal. Then organize by topic. Of course, use the tables and figures to summarize. Instead of writing the theory, you need to write in tables and figure. That is very much acceptable. Many of us, we don't give much preference to the figures and table, but of course this is very much important. Okay, now figures, of course. So figure is a very important part. uh, like it is already, I have already wrote here that okay, the pictures are good as 1,000 words. Means if instead of writing the whole paragraph, if you're showing a small figure and then writing the discussion of that figure in 2 to 3 lines, that is the most acceptable thing. Okay, then of course you need to, of course, if you're using some graphs, then of course line should be there, the regression coefficient should be there. So these are the things which are very much important while just been writing the paper. Now tables, of course, tables are also very important. But yeah, one thing is very clear: don't show tables and figures for same data. Okay, either table or figure for the similar data. Sometimes it happens that okay, for the similar data we are showing the table as well as we are showing that into graphs. So that is not acceptable. So try to manage these things. Otherwise, you will get lot of comments from reviewers. I think all of us, we have received so many comments. So these are some reasons. Okay, conclusion, of course, don't repeat just abstract. Of course, abstract and conclusions, if we see, these are very similar, but don't use same words. Okay, in abstract we are showing the results but in a very brief way, but in conclusion we have to discuss and show the results in a very you can say detailed manner. Of course, it should be 300 to 500 words. Means there is no word limit for the conclusion, but many journals, they don't ask for the conclusion. Okay, so it is the thing, it depends upon journal to journal. But yeah, for abstract you have certain limits for writing. Now, once you just been wrote the paper, you submitted the paper. Now the review work starts. Okay, so now we've just been coming on the ethical part. Now the reviewer work has been started. So what's happening? The editor is slowly dependent on the reviewer's advice. As many of us have already been published many papers, we have submitted papers, we have seen the reviewers comments also, and we know that of course editor only combine all the reviewers comments and they just give to us. Okay, and based on that he or she decide whether the paper should be accepted, rejected, or major or minor revisions. Okay, that is the thing. So of course, while you may say I would never engage in unethical behavior, others do, of course, and it is easy to slip up yourself on self plagiarism. I will give an example of the distinguished scientist. In the whole journey of this presentation, I will show you many of the many of the cases in which the most of the renowned scientists they just got in plagiarism or unethical things. And of course it is very important in this era, because of course many of us, of course the unethical and lazy people, they just author, they just copy others work of their own or others, of course. So now, while just been going to any journal, so there are some instructions for reviewers as well. There are some instructions for authors, and in the same manner, there are some instructions for reviewers also. What are those instructions basically? So, in order to assure the novelty of the work, this is the instruction in the Talenta journal, which I am just been going to discuss in the whole journey. So that is the Talenta. This is the applied chemistry journal, famous journal in elsewhere. So in order to assure the novelty of the work, I would appreciate if readily done that you check the author's prior related publication besides the usual evaluation with respect to the other's work. Okay, database such as SciFinder, Scholars, Science Direct, Scopus, or Cyrus, a free search engine, could aid you in this search. Means once you submit the paper, it does not automatically go for the reviewer or reviewing. Before that, what is being advised, your background is being checked. Okay, your and that paper's topic background is being checked whether it is being published or not, and what is your background in scientific publishing. So many of us, we know that of course the publishing first or second paper is very difficult because you don't have any scientific background. But once you having the scientific background, whether it is good or bad, of course based on that you just get many publications. Okay, up now the shallow review is usually not much help to the editor. Of course there are, of course if you're doing the shallow review, of course it has not been so much helpful for the editor. Okay, we will give the example of those reviewers also. So now I'm just been going to give some examples. It is changed. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. So first of all, just been giving the example of the rationale of the work. Means why are you doing this work? So that is also very important. Means now one by one there are different cases and different things in ethics, of course. So I'm giving example one by one. So this is first example for the rationale of your work. Means many of us, we what we do, we just start doing work or we just submitting our work without the rationale. Means why are you doing this work, why it has been important, and why it has been important means you have to follow previous work, you have to find out the gaps from the previous work, then only you can start the new work. So that is also very important. So this is the news of the organic process R&D editorial process, where they have just put it some questions. What are those? See, author deliberately don't cite competitors work. Of course if I'm writing like if I'm doing work on the biodiesel, then of course if I'm not ethical, if I'm not following the ethics, then what I do, the similar work has been done by my competitor also, but I don't cite his work, because if I cite his work, then of course my work will not be published. So that is also very important. So hope reviewers don't find out the competition. Okay, if you just been citing the others work, then of course there will be more competition. So that is also the thing. Another thing is that many of us neglect to mention our own work. Means if I'm doing work previously, I'm doing the same work previously, then also I am not citing that work. So that if I'm citing that work, then what happened, reviewers say, okay, you are doing the same work again and again. So that is the thing. So now I'm doing the showing some example. These are the real examples. So you can see here, this is And this is the comment of the reviewer, and that paper has been rejected. What are the comments? You can see that. Okay, so it is written in a straightforward way, but the shortcomings of the paper lead to the clear recommendation of rejection. It is not clear it is not clear the justification of the rationale of the work, means why the work is being done, why are more extraction methods needed for the analysis of these substances in tissues. Means he has done the work, but he has not given the rationale, which is very important. Why he has not been given the rationale? Means he has not carried out, he has not shown the previous work, and he has not find out the gaps from the previous work. That's why he was not able to give the rationale of the work, and that's why the paper was rejected. Now, don't repeat your work. So I'm giving the example of that also. So there was a paper, you can see here, the paper name is, of course, for many of us would be like very complicated, of course. So what was the general comment? So instead of going to the general comment, you can see that, okay, significance of this manuscript is weak. I have just highlighted this. So you can see here the reference report. What was the referee report for that paper? The submitted paper focuses on the detection of catechol derivatives using a recessive modified electrode. The work is similar to the several other papers from this group. Means they have published several papers of this type already in many journals. They are not citing their own papers, and now they've just been publishing another paper also in the different journals. So this was the comment of the reviewer. Means anything you cannot hide. This is the electronic age. Everything is available on Google, okay, on many of other platforms. So you cannot hide anything. So that was the thing. Of course, we are the author, we are the clever authors. We generally hide the things, our previous things or others things, but reviewers are smart. They can find out. Okay, you can see here what's happening. This was the paper in 2007. You can see it was Talenta paper. It was the ID TALD07000095. So paper name was, of course, the extractive spectrophotometric determination of tungsten. You can see here. So they have not referred the previous two papers. You can see here, this paper was a sensitive and selective extractive spectrophotometric of tungsten. You can see the same paper has been published in 2006 in Journal of Indian Chemical Society, and the same paper also been published in the Journal of Indian Chemical Society in 2006. Okay, so the new paper was Talenta paper. So Talenta paper, they have not referenced these two papers, and it was caught by the reviewer, and then the comment was rejection. Okay, so this is the thing. Don't duplicate. You can see this is like the huge fraud. You can see first paper name, pre-concentration with membrane cell and adsorptive polar graphic determination of cyanides in air. The second paper is on, this was the paper on 1999. The second paper was published by the same group on phenol. The third paper was published by the same group in 2002 on formaldehyde. The fourth paper was published by the same group on aniline in 2001. So are you getting the point? The same paper is being published again and again. The author has just changed the name of the chemical: cyanide, phenol, formaldehyde, then aniline. And after that, I'll just doing this. You can see these two papers are different from the same author. One is in Talenta and another is in SAB. Okay, so you can see here in first paper, the agent name was the silver, AG, and in the second paper, the agent name is AU, gold. So they have wrote the same paper. First paper was on silver, another paper was on gold, and the interesting thing is that you can see here results are same in both the papers, whether it is silver or gold. Means the author was so clever, they have not changed even the results are almost same. You can see the graph, you can see these graphs, Talenta paper and SNAV paper. You can imagine the graphs are same in both the papers. So this is the fraud actually. You can see the another graph from the same paper for for silver and for gold. So these graphs are same. So these kind of frauds are going on in the market. So you have one has to be very much very much smart. You can see here in 2003 in red color, this paper has already been published. And you can see the word by word, the same paper, another author has caught this, has just stolen this paper, and in 2006 he has published in Talenta. Can you imagine? So these kind of frauds are being going on, and you can see that these frauds are being caught also in future. And what happened with the court cases, I'll discuss those things also. Don't self plagiarize. Okay, you can see here in April uh, 2012, you can see here Breslau. He is the like one of the very renowned scientists in US, Breslau. Okay, in chemistry area. So what's happening? You can see the statement. After that, I'll discuss. The latest news, Breslau paper in Journal of American Chemical Society questioned critics cite similarities between the perspective and two previously published papers. He has published previously two papers on the same topic. It was the review paper, and again he published a third paper. Okay, you can see the background of the this Breslau. Breslau is a titan in the chemistry enterprises and a major figure at ACS. He served as the society's president in 1996. Means in American Chemical Society, he was the president and he was publishing this paper in that and doing the fraud and being caught, and was the recipient of the society's highest award, the you can see the Presley Medal in 1999. So you can see the importance, means the level of that person and what's happening. So what's happening? The paper is questioned in the Journal of American Chemical Society perspective entitled. So this was the name of the paper. So they have asked the Breslau that why have you done this thing? Okay. So what's happening? The Breslau has given the this answer. You can see this was the answer to the mail which is being asked to the Breslau that okay, why have you published this paper again? So the perspective was requested by the editor, means the editor sometimes they give the special issue invitation to many authors. So he's saying like that the perspective was requested by the editor of Journal of American Chemical Society, and I decided to accept the invitation since I thought the work definitely deserves Journal of American Chemical Society publication. Bessler wrote, however, I had written two reviews before in other journals, so I was concerned to avoid self-plagiarism. I knew that figures should not be duplicated, so I redid them again, and of course used a new title and introduction and a new sequence of presentation. But then I am afraid I fell in love with my own words previously used. After all, it was the same material being discussed and did not make enough effort to change them. Repetition of so much was certainly an error. So I understand why the perspective needs to be withdrawn. You can see, I mean, these kind of big scientists, big names are doing the same thing. So that is the thing actually. What's happening in the this scientific society? Just a minute. I think my presentation is being, yeah, nice. Okay. So now don't send the same work to the different journals. It's happened actually. Many of us, what we do, we just write the single paper and we just submit in two or three journals so that we would be safe. Okay, means like we are not able to waste the time, because if the paper is going for review and after 6 months it got rejected, so it is the problem actually. So many of us, we do the smart and the clever work, we just send the same paper to the two or three journals. But what happened was with those journals, so this is the thing. So I'll just show some of the examples up. Yeah, so don't send the journal to the two different journals. So you can see here what's happening. So first of all, just read this statement, then I'll discuss. I feel, dear Paul, I feel I have to ask to you for advice in regard to the paper you recently sent me to referee. It means the reviewer, the same reviewer has received, means what's happening? There was one author. He just write one paper. He just submitted that paper to two different journals. Now the two different journals, they have sent the paper to the same reviewer. Now you can imagine what is the condition. So now that reviewer is asking to the editor of the journal this question. Recently, I received by chance two papers for referring which are from the same author and on the similar topic. Okay, so one was on the analytical chemistry chemical acta, and another journal was the talenta. So he has submitted the same paper to the different journals, but what's happening, both the journals chose the same reviewer for reviewing this, because the area of that paper was related to that reviewer. So what's happening, so now the what editor is been replying, you can see the last line. So if I read each paper separately without the acknowledgement of the other, my recommendation would be the most likely for the minor and the major changes respectively. Means if if he was like unaware that, if the reviewer was unaware that the paper is being submitted in two different journals, the same paper, then of course it was going to be accepted. But unfortunately that paper was came for to the same reviewer. So now this was the additional comment from the editor, that I have compared the talenta paper with the manuscript submitted to the Analytica Chemica Acta, and I was astounded to see that the paper, they are virtually identical. It therefore appears that the author has submitted the same work to two different journals. Okay, and this kind of, if true, this is outrageous and totally unacceptable action. And sometime what happened, the author is like get blocked from that journal to to publish the paper, to submit the paper in near future. Now the don't plagiarize, I'm just giving some examples of the plagiarism as well. You can see here the red portion is the original portion and the green portion is the taken from the red portion. So you can see the red portion, although too large for attaching to a red, the size of the remote unit expedited circuit construction, modification, and testing. So this was the paper of the Garris. Now this paper is being plagiarized by another author, and what he wrote, as the unit was too large for attaching a red, the size of the remote unit expedited circuit construction, modification, and testing. So he has just word to word was same. Of course you can plagiarize, of course you can copy the text from the another paper, but you have to change the wordings. So that is important. Okay, so you can see the down portion also. The red portion is the original portion and the green portion is the plagiarized portion. So you can see the word to word is same. So that's why it comes under plagiarism. Now I will show you this paper. You can see here two papers are there. The upper paper is of talenta, the below paper is of analytica letters. Okay, analytical letter. So you can see the upper paper is published in 2004 and the below, the down portion paper is being published in 1997. And you can see the cleverness of the author. What's happening, the iron 3 is being replaced by the chromium 3. The whole name is same, the author is different, the whole name is same. You can see the iron 3 is being replaced by chromium 3. And I'll show you the another thing in this paper. You can see word by word is same, word by word is same, just they have control F replaced the iron 3 from chromium 3 and just published in the, and what's happening, it is been published also, and after publication it is been caught. And what's happened with that caught paper, I'll show you this paper. You can see word by word is same, you can see the whole result is same. How can it be possible the chromium and iron are giving the same results? You can see these results are also same. You can see word by word, result by result is same. So what's happened with this case? Retracted. The journal, the Talenta journal, has not withdrawn that paper. That paper is there in the Talenta journal website. But how? They have wrote there retracted. Okay. And they have here they have write the reason why it is being retracted. They have write the whole story of the author, that he how he has caught the how he has been caught. So that whole story is being you can also see by going the into website of Talenta journal. So that is so embarrassing and shameful for the author. So nowadays they are not withdrawing the paper. If you are just copying pasting some papers, they are not withdrawing. What they are writing retracted on that website. So in near future your whole career will be it's gone. So that is the thing. So you can see here in Science Direct, this is the data of the Science Direct. So 670 articles till now, they are retracted. Okay. And if you just been thinking about the Talenta, then in Talenta journal, till now 13 articles are found as retracted. So you can see check the website also. So now the action against violation, you can see here what has been written here. So very serious. Yeah, this is the actually the journal action actually about that plagiarism. So how it has been right? The such allegation, if not answered satisfactorily, will result in you being blacklisted by the most of the journals. Means what's happening if you've been caught in such cases, then of course the editor asks you that, okay, what is the problem, how you have done this, why have you done this, or is there be any misunderstanding? If you're not giving answer to that question, then you will be blacklisted and retracted. Okay, so that is very important in the scientific society. So now I'll just be showing the one case is the Patiam Chiranjeevi, which is the fraud case. You can see here how it is been. You can see the upper paper is green portion is the. Uh, you can see here what is the paper. It is the paper in 2007. It was published, and it was published by Patiam Chiranjeevi. Online electrochemical oxidation of AS3 for the determination of total AS by flow injection solid phase spectrophotometry. So they have copied more than 95% of the work of the another author, which was the Matsuoka et al. So that study was published in 2006, and then it was copied by Patiam Chiranjeevi, and he published in 2007. And what he did, he just changed simply chromium to arsenic. Okay, so the paper published by Matsuoka et al was on the chromium, and the paper published by the Chiranjeevi was on the arsenic. So what's happening after finding this fraud, the editor actually asked the question to author, sir, we found one related paper to our research spectrophotometer determination of this talent in Talenta 72 in 2007, submitted in 2006 earlier. So the proposed reaction scheme is scientifically and experimentally is not possible. Means the editor is asking to the author that this scheme is not possible. Means the paper previously published was on the chromium, and now you just be saying that the paper has been published by Chiranjeevi. He's saying that the same reaction is being done by arsenic also. So they are saying that no, in arsenic case this reaction is not possible. So author did not reply, means because he was caught. So that's why he has not replied, and that's why it was comes under fraud case. If you're not replying, then that is also under fraud case. So don't try to fool the editor. Another thing, how is this going to fool the editor? Sometimes it happens that, okay, he is Professor Monetaka. Okay, so he is in the Kyoto University. So what's happening? sometime you just publish the, so while you submit the paper, the editor asks about the potential reviewers. So what's happening? Sometime people give the name of the author as a reviewer. So you've just been trying to fool the editor. So this is the case. So Professor Munetaka Olama was the co-author of a paper, and the main author gave his name as a reviewer. Then editor contacted him. Then Monica replies, "Thank you very much for your reviewer invitation. After opening the content, I have found that I am the co-author of this paper. So how can I write? How can I do the review of this paper?" So these kind of things. Some authors will submit a rejected paper sometime later. Hope the editor doesn't notice and will have it review again. So sometime it happens now that okay, if I am submitting in fuel, okay, paper has been rejected, and after 2 months I am just submitting the same paper. That okay, so these are the examples. Now like in 2005 the paper was rejected, and then they have submitted the same paper in 2006 in the same journal, and it was rejected again. Also in 2006 you can see here the paper was rejected, and then that rejected paper was submitted in the same paper, and it was accepted after 3 revisions in 2007. Okay, so what's it is not like there is nothing bad in submitting the rejected paper, but what you need to understand, what you need to notice, if you are resubmitting to another journal, at least pay attention to the reviewers from the first journal. Okay, if your paper has been rejected, then there should be some kind of comments now from reviewers, so you have to follow those comments, and after correcting that paper you can submit. Of course, nobody stops you, because what's happening, while submitting the paper in different journal or same journal, reviewers are almost same. Okay, reviewers are attached based on the research area. So if reviewers see, okay, this paper has been rejected by me 2 months earlier, and now it is being submitted again without any corrections which was given by me, which was suggested by me, then what happened? It will be rejected again now. So that's why you have to we submit paper, of course, but after addressing all the suggestions suggested by the reviewer. So that is very important. So now this is the thing actually. Now the Gary, okay, I'm just been showing you one more thing. Just a thing. Yeah. So this is the example. There was one author. He submitted the same paper to the two different to the journals. How? I submitted the following manuscript to Talenta. Murray was the co-editor of the associate editor of the Talenta, and in the same manner, he just wrote the letter to Gary Christian. I submit the enclosed manuscript to the Analytic Chemica. Now, what's happening? See, we as an author we feel that okay, editors are not connected, but no, editors are connected. Dear Gary means now the same paper is being submitted to Gary Talenta, and the same paper is being submitted to Paul, which is the editor of the Analytica Chemica Acta. Okay, now Paul is asking question to Gary. I received the attached review on the manuscript PH this for Analytica Chemica. The reviewer comments about seeing something very similar for Talenta. Are you able to check? Means the Paul is asking to Gary that okay, my reviewer is saying that the same paper is being published or submitted in Talenta also. So please check whether it is being submitted or not. Now, what Talenta or the Gary is saying to Paul? Yes, we have seen this paper and rejected it. So the author is recycling it. Attached is the review we received. So what's happening means if I am going to submit a paper, rejected paper in another journal, then that journal can contact to my previous journal as well. So they are so connected. The database is so strong. So that's why it's saying the things. Now submit to the right journal. That is also very important. You need to submit right journal, right paper to the right journal. So first of all, you have to see the scope of the journal. Many of us, we don't see, but that is very important. Aim and the scope of the journal. So of course, I'll just showing you something. Just Okay, after some slides, I'll just be showing. Then language of the paper. Language of the paper is also very important. How? Means sometimes it happens that the English of the paper is not good. As your paper is being going worldwide, it is the international journal. The all audience will study this. And some of the countries which are not non-English speaking, and some of the countries which are English speaking. So the your English should be understood by all the you can say the researchers, whether they are English speaking or non-English speaking. So it should not be very complicated. Many of us, what we do, we write very complicated English, but no, in scientific writing they say that the English should be very simple. Your sentences should be very small. It should not be like 3 to 4 line sentences. No, you just break your sentences in three, like if it is a 3 or 4 line sentence, then may break it into 3 sentences so that it should be understandable by the all the audience. Okay, so of course, what can you do for that? Of course, don't be afraid to get some expert help on your English. Of course, there should, your English should be checked by some professional helper, some professional English speaking person. Then even if it is excellent, it doesn't hurt you to have someone else critique your work. So that criticism is very important. It will help reviewers to understand and accept the work. Sometimes it happens that your work is very much good, very good, but you are not able to present it. You are not able to say what you want to, what have you done, and what are the results. So the thing is the language, but so that is very important. Okay, so of course, sometimes it happens that of course you can reboot your reviewers comments. Why? Means sometimes it happens that the reviewers are not correct. Sometimes they miss something or just don't understand. Sometimes reviewers area is different than your areas. Even in my publishing also, my research also, I found sometime that okay, there are 3 reviewers. 2 reviewers are saying that of course the work is very good. One reviewer saying that no, it is not good, it should be rejected. So you have to address the reviewers very carefully. You have to review the reviewers. So that is very important without saying bad words or hurting them. So that is also very important. So now, based on that, we found that okay, plagiarism is very important actually. So while you just been publishing or while you just been writing the paper, then at the end of the writing, you have to see the plagiarism. So these are some plagiarism software. So Turnitin, of course, we know very well. So that software, of course, we all should use. But okay, how much we are having the plagiarism. So plagiarism rate is being said that okay, if it is a research paper, then of course it should not be more than 20%, and in review paper it can be goes up to 30%. So that's why that plagiarism is very important. Many of us, we just check plagiarism using some free software, some online free software. So that is not good, that is not correct. They don't check it in a proper manner. So you need to check it using some credential softwares like the Turnitin or the you can see here ETB last. So these are some good softwares while using the while just been going to use the plagiarism. So ultimately, you found that okay, the plagiarism is very important while just been talking about the ethics. First thing is the plagiarism. The second thing is the reference citation. What you are using, you have to cite that word. So that is very important. Okay, so of course, there are some author similar papers. There are uh, some platforms where your papers are found. Yeah, like the Madeline, then Scopus, Google Scholar, SciFinder Scholar. So these are some platforms. So if you are just going to submit any paper, then you should also check that whether the same paper are been existing on these platforms or not, because the editor and reviewers later on will definitely check your papers similarity index using these platforms as well. So that is also very important. So this is the thing. The another thing just been in this presentation, this is very important thing I'm just been showing that of course the 2017 Talenta manuscript data, that of course 478 papers they got for publication, but they accepted only 148 papers and rejected 302. In review, that time was 14, so rejection rate was 65.1%. And I have discussed the reject means rational of the paper is very much important. The plagiarism part is very much important, and of course the citation part is very much important. So you these two or three things are very important while you just going to accept. So first step is the rational. Why are you doing this work? Why it is good? So that is the thing actually. So at the end, just been going to show you some of the, just a minute, yeah. So at the end, I just want to say this thing that of course while just been writing the paper, so you should be very brave. Of course, be brave. Write the first paper. You will learn by doing. Of course, you cannot learn by seeing anybody's lecture like me. So you have to learn by doing only. Until you will not write, you cannot learn. Okay, so you will learn by doing. Expect criticisms. Many of us, we don't want to see criticism, but that is very important. Okay, so we need to understand, we need to take the advantage of reviewers comments. They are always correct most of the time. So you need to of course expect the criticism from your professor, from your reviewer. So many of us are PhD students, MTech students. So of course what professor is saying, what reviewers are saying, that is very important to follow, to to take care of. That is very normal. 99% of the papers accepted requires the reason. Of course all the papers which are accepted, these are not accepted in the first time. They needed many revisions. Then only after that they accepted. I have shown you this now. Like out of 478, only 148 papers are being accepted. So these are not accepted in one phase, in one time. Okay, after many revisions they have been accepted. So that's why it is not like a boon or miracle, or no one is perfect for writing the paper, if whether it is you or me. So we have to follow these things. So over half of the manuscripts are rejected. Why? Because of the things which we have discussed earlier. Okay, now the just for your reference, just want to discuss some funding agencies in India. This is not the part of this presentation, but of course, uh, if you want to do research, then you have to write the project. So I'm just want to motivate you guys to write some good grants, some good projects. So these are some of the India-centric research funds, like the Department of Science and Technology, everybody knows, the Atomic Energy Regulatory Boards, and many of us, like the University Grant Commission. And I think you guys would be like very good for the University Grant Commission. There are many grants are available on the website, and these are the Indian-centric. And now the Uttarakhand-centric, if we're just talking about, then the Uttarakhand, of course, Council of Science and Technology in Dehradun, UPOS. So start writing projects, then only you can be able to publish the things. And the same rules are been, nowadays the same rules are followed by writing the projects also, because they also see the plagiarism and all the things. So of course, as you know, that if you want to get a project, it should be very new concept. So rational should be there, and it should be free of plagiarism as well. So these are the things which you need to follow while just been writing the uh, projects as well. So from my part, actually, from ethical portion, it has been completed. So I would be more happy, of course, to if I would be able to clarify any of your query, of course.
Thank you so much, sir, for this enlightening session. Now I request all the participants, if there is any query, they can put up their queries.
Sir, can I ask a question, please, sir?
Yeah, sure.
I understood that point you told about just changing one minor component of the research paper and then publishing it again is considered plagiarism. I understand that part. But supposing we are trying various intervention techniques, I'm talking from the background of psychology. So suppose we want to improve the working memory of a person and we are using different techniques. So every time we use a different technique, say one could be teaching them mental arithmetic, one could
Mhm.
be asking them to say play chess. These are all cognitive activities which are likely to improve the working memory. So every time we use a different method, can we consider it a different paper?
Yes, actually, many people are doing this also. So you can considering different techniques in different paper is not bad. But the thing is that you have to follow. You have to cite your previous work also. That okay, I have done work. The author has done work on this technology, and we found these are the gaps. That's why we are using this new technology. And at the end you can say that okay, I have used this technology, and what are the different, like in graphical manner or in tabulated manner or in quantitative manner if it's possible. Then okay, why how your new technology has been different, how your new technology has been giving some different results than the previous technology. So of course using new techniques and writing new paper is not bad, but yeah, you need to follow your previous paper. That is the thing. Don't
Okay,
hide your previous paper.
got it, sir. Understood, sir. And as a corollary to this particular question, suppose I using the same technique, I use two different dimensions. Let us say one is working memory, and let us say one is perceptual speed. These are two
Mhm.
different things which are getting improved. So
Mhm.
I do the experiment once, but publish two different papers, each citing a different improvement.
Yeah, yeah, you can do. You can do. You can
Okay,
do because nah, yeah, so using same techniques but the different portions. Yeah, you can do that also.
right. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Yes, any other query from participant side? Yes, Ramakrishna sir wants to ask something. Yes, sir, please go ahead.
Yes, yes, madam. Sir, generally when you publish the paper, generally scopers are asking that. So why they so much of time to give the reply and how why they are the taking so much time, sir? What is the reason? May I know that?
Okay, you just want to know that how why they're taking too much time for reviewing the paper.
Yes, yes, sir.
Okay, yeah, actually, like I think you have also done some review. I don't know, but we means I am also a reviewer of many journals of science direct. So what's happening that okay, like we are like engaged in teaching as well, and research is like is the secondary portion. So all the scientists are teachers also, and they are being engaged with many activities as well. So what's happening? We just got the invitation. What's happening? What is the procedure? While you submit a paper to the journal, then journal main editor appoints the sub editors, the associate editors, based on the area of that paper. That okay, you will just edit the paper. Okay, then this process will take some time, a week also, a week or 15 days time it will take. Okay, then once the paper is received by the associate editor, then he will now search the reviewers, that okay, this is the area of the paper, then who are the potential reviewers based on the area of that paper. Then once he just identified the reviewers, he asked those reviewers, suppose there are 5 or 6 reviewers, so what happened, he just he just sent the same paper to all the 6 7 reviewers and asking that okay, are you able to review this paper. Then reviewers take some time. Okay, whether sometime it happens that okay, they are not checking the mail, they're out of town, or they are very much busy, so they take around 10 days 15 days to get reply. Okay, to just reply the mail, okay, I am able to review or I am not able to review. Suppose they are able to review, then they say okay, I am able to review. So first 3 reviewers he selected, okay, first 3 mails he selected, okay, these are now doing review. Then reviewer will get only 30 to 45 days to review the paper. So sometime it happened that okay, if he is very much busy, then he take 30 to 45 days, or maybe editor remind after 45 days, okay, there was a review, you have to do that review. So the whole process has been taking time. So this is the ideal condition which I'm talking you. Sometime it happens that all the 6 or 7 reviewers, they are not replying to the editor about the review. Then he search after 3 months, he search again another reviewers for reviewing that paper. So this is the thing, actually this is the practical thing. And reviewers are not getting any money for reviewing the paper, even including me also. So what's happening, this is not my priority. My priority is my job, my teaching. If I'll get time, then definitely I do review. And what reviewers get, okay, this is the new trend of working. So being a reviewer, I always in search, okay, whether I'll get some new paper, I'll get, okay, some new findings, some new techniques, okay, what the word researchers are doing. So that is only my advantage. Otherwise I'm not getting any monetary advantage, and so much pressure in, teaching and other assignments as well. So that's why this is the process. Actually, this is the reality. I'm saying you not any ideal condition. I'm saying you reality. This is the reality. So even in my case, even when I was in my PhD, I submitted one paper in elsewhere in fuel, and then after 2 years when I was in Singapore, then I got the reviewer comment. After 2 years I got the reviewer comment. So that is the condition, and we have to accept that.
Yes, sir.
Okay,
So
okay,
this is
thank you.
thing that we were discussing yesterday's session also,
Mhm.
that being a teacher and a researcher, doing two things together, it's a very tedious task today, because being teacher is not no more a simple thing. Like these online
Yeah.
things are going on, and there are so many other things that we have to do. And then it comes to
Yeah.
research part, and research is also very challenging these days. We cannot simply just copy and paste the data and get it
Yes.
published anywhere. Like everyone is getting smart. Electronics has made everyone smart, so it's quite challenging task. So this is a thing that we were discussing yesterday also, that researchers community should be different from teachers community. Teachers should be just
Yeah.
teaching stuff only.
Yeah,
Researchers
teachers are,
that,
yeah, teachers are
yeah,
not only teachers, they are now administrators also. They have to do so many other things. So that is the
yeah,
thing.
administrator and clerk, mostly the
Yeah.
clerical work being done
Yeah. Yeah.
everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Dr. Ramakrishna wants to say something else also. Yes, sir, please. Dr. Ramakrishna, sir, you want to say something else?
No, no, madam. Sir given very good explanation. Actually, and one more thing, sir. So I'm asking to on behalf of all. So the today we got the news from the newspaper here, Hyderabad, and the next recruitments in the university, the net and set is not enough. You have to submit the PhD, complete the PhD also.
Mhm.
So how can we justify, sir? Actually, that is a national level examination we qualified, but these universities are majority. I observed that almost 70 to 80% of less quality of degrees are the awarding. So how can you compare that with that net examination? So can we approach court or something, sir? Could you suggest anything in this?
Pinky ma'am, can you please elaborate? I'm not able to, listen it properly.
Oh, yes, sir. What I could understand from the question, Dr. Ramakrishna wants to ask that there was a news in yesterday's newspaper in Hyderabad, that their universities are making it mandatory for the assistant professors vacancies, that if you are a PhD and you have cleared the NET exam, only then you are eligible for this post. And suppose if a person has clarified that, cleared that NET test and he is not PhD,
Mhm.
so what can he do? Am I right, sir?
Yeah.
Yes, yes, madam.
Ramakrishna?
Yes, madam. Yes,
Yeah,
madam.
that's actually, I would not be able to give the proper answer of this because I have not gone through this thing. Yeah, but of course, yeah, these are the things for the, of course, for basic and applied sciences. Yeah, it is now going compulsory day by day that, yeah, a person should be net qualified, and means like being a PhD, and along with the net, it is very important nowadays. But yeah, if the person is only net and not PhD, then I think he would be treated as a senior research fellow or something like junior research fellow, because for that also now net is being compulsory. But I am not able to give the proper answer because I am not very much aware in this topic right now.
Okay, okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you,
We
madam.
will consider this question and we'll try to give the answer. I think we have some other participants also who can help us in answering this question. Can I ask Sanjay sir to please join us, and can you elaborate on this on the query that Ramakrishna sir is saying?
Yes, ma'am, I can. I think so.
Yes.
Uh, Ramakrishna sir, are you aware of my background that day I discussed about?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Actually, that university now that the UGC has declared that PhD is compulsory for recruiting the assistant professor, and what is the validity about of the NET and SET? So earlier, even NET and SET and JRF, SRF also eligible for assistant professors, but they are taking its mandated. And what is the validity of PhD and everything? I'm asking like, and how they are going to check and everything.
Sir, see, there are two things in life. That's how I take things in life. One is in our control, the other is not in our control. So
Yes,
whatever
sir.
government orders are coming that are not in our control. So what is in my control is how to qualify NET. So that's how I went about. So when I joined PhD, and my age is 56, I'll be 56 this year. So in 2018, I joined PhD. So that time there was no such news of NET being compulsory. But still, I understood the value of NET, that it is a benchmark in academics at least. So once a person is NET qualified, then you don't have to tell anything about yourself, how much knowledge you are having or not having, or your experience. It is taken for granted. So that's how I decided to do NET then, 2018 December. That time I was nearly 53 years of age. So I not only just qualified, I got 66% marks, and percentile rank was 99.968. So I was in the top 4 in India. So it is possible, I can assure you, that if a person of my age and no experience in academics can do it, you can definitely do it. It's not a big deal. You just have to put your heart and mind into it.
Excuse me,
Of course, I
sir.
was. Yes, ma'am.
I'm sorry to interrupt you, sir. So Dr. Ramakrishna basically wants to know that can we go into any court, or can we present our case, like if we have done if we have cleared NET but we are not PhD, like
So,
at this time of stage, like if now you are invalidating the things that you are not eligible anymore.
yes,
So
yes,
can you
yes, yes.
come in, file a case
Yes, yes.
anywhere?
Okay. Yes. So for that, sir, government laws cannot be put in retrospective effect in such a manner that a person is at loss. That is, of course, there. They can make PhD and NET compulsory from July 2021. That is a given thing. But they cannot legally. They cannot just get rid of the people who are not NET qualified and already in job. Of course, they can restrict their promotions, but they cannot demote or remove them.
Yes, sir, Dr. Ramakrishna, I would like to add here, sir, that when NET became compulsory earlier, a few years back, they had also, conveyed, there was a regulation like 2009 that the people who had been enrolled in PhD before that, they are eligible. That kind of condition was there. So I guess if they are making a rule to make it compulsory, there must be some relaxation. They will definitely give some relaxation, because they have to consider if a person is already employed, he is already a government employee on the basis of his PhD only, and he is a non-net qualified person, he will definitely get some relaxation. This is what I can expect from the government, because they have been doing like these things earlier also.
So what earlier they had done, to the best of my knowledge, when they made this NET compulsory, they had given a condition that if you are not NET qualified, these benefits will not be available to you in future. They had given a certain window period. Within that, if you qualify, fine. Otherwise, these promotional benefits or whatever increment benefit will not be available. So laws are made from prospective effects, never from retrospective effects.
All right. Do we have any more questions? Thank you, Sanjay sir, for enlightening us. Thank you so much. Yes. Do we have any more questions on the ethics of scientific writing or ethics of paper publication? So this was the topic. Let's come back to our topic now. Yeah. All right. I think, Siddhartha, you have made the things already very much clear enough. So there are no more queries from the participant side. But yes, I have one query, one doubt in my mind that I would like to ask. Sir, like we have written our thesis So sometimes we feel like getting it published. So what do you say? Should we get it published as a whole book, or if we can we do it like if we are publishing one chapter of my thesis in one journal, then I'm getting the second chapter published in another journal, and then I'm getting the whole book published also on my own finances. I'm doing this thing. So will that be all right, or will it be not good for my academic career?
Uh, Ethically, it is not correct actually. Of course, if you are publishing different chapters in as a journal paper, then you cannot publish the whole thesis as a book. But yeah, there are some publication houses like the Medium World, like Germany, or some more publication houses in Germany. What they are saying that they're saying that okay, you can publish your whole thesis as a book, and they mention that okay, it is a thesis by the Dr. Pinky Chug, and we just been going to publish this thesis as a book. So in that way you can do it. But yeah, if you just been thinking that without specifying that it is a thesis and just been going to publish as a book, however you have already been published some papers from that thesis, that is not good.
Okay. So, what do you suggest? Getting the chapters published in different journals is a better idea, or getting
Yeah.
the this is
Yeah, I think getting published like different chapters as a different papers is a very good idea, because papers are always like more valuable than a book.
all right.
Yeah, if it is a good journal.
Okay. Okay. Thank you so much, sir. Okay.
Thank you, ma'am.
So,
Thank you.
yeah. And any other queries? Nothing. Okay. I request all the participants to please switch on their cameras so that we can have a photo shoot just for a minute. I request all the participants and Dr. Jain also to please switch on their cameras. As you all know that we have to keep the records of each and everything. Those things are going online, so we have to document everything, right? So that's why we have a photo shoot session at the end of every day. Every at the end of every session, we have a photo shoot for a minute, and I this is a routine that I have to ask all the participants to switch on their cameras, because no one wants to keep the cameras on. Everyone is conscious. So, but yes, this is just a part of these formalities that we have to do. May I request Ashutosh Sharma also to please switch on their camera and take some photographs. Ashutosh sir, are you here?
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
So please. Okay. Okay, then. Thank you so much, sir. And it was a really very interesting and interactive session, and it was quite useful also from the perspective of all the participants. Maybe they are from various disciplines, but it was quite relevant to each and everyone. And I
Madam,
thank all the participants also.
Madam,
Thank you so much.
will it be possible for sir to share the PPT with us?
Yes, sure.
Okay, thank you.
I have already uploaded, so I think Dr. Chug also from can download from there. It is on OneDrive, or otherwise I will email to Dr. Chug.
So, ma'am, I will request please put it in the group so we will download from there.
Yeah, definitely. I'll share in that group.
Thank you.
We'll be sharing all these recordings also. We are recording all these sessions, and we'll be sharing these recordings on YouTube also. And I will be sharing the channel name, University channel, and all the details by the end of this program. All right. So thank you once
Okay,
again.
thank you
We'll
so
meet
much.
you tomorrow at 11 a.m.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, madam. Thank you, Pinky. Good session.